Holy fuck. Death Note, Donald Trump's involved. It's crazy. So this looks a little different because I'm at David's house filming this, and so he doesn't have all the assets for the fucking background, so it's just kind of ramshackled together. But that's clearly not the important part. The important part is us and our talkie voices. I'm tired. Been up for probably, I don't know, since like 4:30, and it's like coming up on midnight. So this should be a good, delirious video about the Death Note one-shot. Holy fuck. David, you just read it. I read it like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But it stuck in my mind. I fucking loved it. I want your thoughts first.
So, I obviously always loved Death Note, but Nier just...
Nier's a diet L. Everyone knows. And I love, too, Nier has, like, little purpose in this. And that's okay. It's just funny, because Nier, like, basically, like... a little bit into the story is like, all right, there's nothing much I can do here because there's so many, like, there's no way to track it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The admitting defeat was a nice little character moment there. Like,
also, he doesn't really give a fuck. It's like, it's not really illegal. I like the point he made where it's like, weapons of mass death are sold constantly. Right. Nothing is illegal. Nothing here is happening that's illegal. Period.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very in tune with our society today. Like, the amount that our money means little to nothing.
I wanted to bring that up, too. Like, I love... Like, people don't sit down and think about this kind of shit enough. And if there's any way that I promote, like, sit down and just smoke a blunt or whatever, I'm not even a weed smoker, but people tell me it makes you have those, like, deep whoa thoughts. People need to have more of those thoughts. And one of the thoughts you need to have is the fact that currency means nothing. It's like a made-up fucking number. Well, it used to be green paper, and now it's just a digital number that fucking represents your worth in society. That's all it is.
100 quadrillion yen.
Yeah, they could literally come up with whatever number they want because they're governments. And, like, here's the thing. Like, you have two options if you're a country. You either have created your own economy or you're using a different country's economy. So some countries, they put their money through, like Saudi Arabia sells their shit through our economy, and this country does that.
The EU is like one massive
like China. So it came down to kind of China and the US, who both kind of run their own economy. And when you run your own economy, money doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
you can just create more, and it's not advised, but like it's just true. Like, and it just kind of, that's one of my favorite parts about this. Is that once it started, you could see where this is going to go. Because obviously this is like, you're essentially selling the power of a god. Literally. It's a death god, right?
Yeah.
And of course governments are just going to, like, there's no way a government's going to just be like, no. They literally had to cap the fucking auction at some point. Because it would have just kept going forever.
Oh, yeah.
They would have just come up, they would have literally invented new numbers.
Yep.
If they didn't just be like, all right, we're done. Right? So I just love that as a little side lesson of just how pointless currency is just so dumb, and like it's just created by us as like a system to live by, but like it's so fragile. Like the concept. It reminds me of one of the best scenes in Rick and Morty where like he literally he just destroys an entire society by like fucking with their currency a bit. You know what I mean? Let me just change the value of this from a 1 to a 0, and then everyone just mass suicides. It's just currency just controls us, even though it's just an imaginary number.
Yeah. Think about it for a moment, and who better to purchase the Death Note than Donald Trump?
Of course. Now, well, how about that twist? We're like, Shinigami King's a little mad at me. We can't be selling the Death Note, so like,
I'm gonna create a new rule.
I love that Trump's like, no, this is perfect. Actually, I'll say I took it, but then because I'm never using it, people will think I'm just an angel of peace. It's perfect, and then I get to live.
This is such great PR.
Honestly, I ain't even gonna lie. I do the same thing. I would do the same thing. I ain't even gonna lie.
No,
that's a perfectly acceptable choice. Oh, you're touching your goddamn GameCube controller, and you're making the. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you.
There. No, I didn't touch the GameCube controller. I bumped the Pro controller that way. So I just turned my TV off.
Large dumb. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed that. Nah. It was like playing backwards and in like increments of 20 seconds. That'd be extra as fuck. But
the machine you're learning of YouTube is beautiful.
No. So yeah. What was I gonna say? Let's talk. I like this main character because I think that the authors of Death Note, they probably sat down and were like, "What could we do with the Death Note that we haven't done already?" And I love the fact that, he didn't have some grandiose, like, plan, like, Light to use it for anything. He's just like, no, I'm just gonna, like, this kid is smart, but in a different way than Light. And that's kind of something I respect about this kid, right? Whereas Light, he had this whole grandiose, make the world a better place, become a god, blah, 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 blah. This kid's just, like, practical as fuck. Like, nah, bro, I make hella bank off of this. And I'm like, yes! And they kind of foreshadow it where Ryuk is like seeing, oh, this kid's smart, but you kind of see, not necessarily like school smarts. He's just good at those, like, he's good at problem solving, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, in those IQ tests, he's smart, but he's not like IQ smart. So, in that way, he was different than Light. Yeah.
Whereas Light was top of his class, this fucking genius level intellect.
This kid was a lot more about the street smarts, just like a clever kid, And
it's like, how can I do good? I know what the outcome of this is gonna be.
And I love how the authors so cleverly thought about all the differences in our society compared to when Death Note was originally written.
All right.
Because when Death Note was originally written, there wasn't cameras everywhere. There wasn't, you know what I mean? Like nowadays,
there was a little bit of that. There was a little bit of the surveillance.
You'd have cameras occasionally, but now it's just everywhere.
Yeah. So not only just cameras, but you have like smart tech where you're fucking monitored. Like, I love how they integrate, like, our phones are fucking control. We know the government knows everything that's going on. And you can't fucking deny that, literally, we live in an algorithmic society where everything we search is targeted back to us. Every bit of our browser history is monitored. Whether you want to believe it or not, it's true. Like,
that's kind of a point they're making, is like, the stuff that Light did wouldn't work today.
Right.
But I like that they put in there, like, but Light was so smart that he probably would have come up with a way to work it now if he was still around. You know what I mean? But, like, so he had to, like, I think the most clever thing was just always having Ryuk go through the ground.
Yeah.
Because, all right, they're never going to be able to see anything. Just always go through the ground. Always come through the ground. Because remember, the people that have touched the Death Note from the original series, they would be able to see Ryuk. Yep. So just always having him travel through the ground, genius. Loved it. And I saved it for last, but, like, his fucking plan, because the big thing at that point was like, all right, the thing that Nier was interested in was like, okay, he's got all this money, ungodly amount of money, stupid amount of money, more money than anyone could ever have ever. And they're like, how the fuck is he gonna claim the money? Genius, bro. So this is why he waited. He told him to come back in 2 years, because he had to be old enough to open up a bank account. So he opens a bank account, and he says, yo, split the money. He gets Ryuk to hold a little note, and he's like, hey, split the money between everyone under 60 that has this bank account. Genius. Because it's so much money, you get like $10 million or some shit. And not only does he help himself, but he boosts the fucking economy. The Kira bubble just made so many people in Japan crazy happy. Fucking, like, honestly did a hell of a good deed with no harm at all. The Death Note was sold, but it didn't really go to the U.S. So literally all that happened was he basically just made the U.S. give a fuck ton of money to Japan. Yep. So like, I honestly kind of felt bad for him that he died. You know? Because honestly, like, he was kind of a good guy. Like, he was doing it to get money for himself, but, like, he was willing to split all that money with all these different people, Yep. He could have narrowed it more, because it still wouldn't have been trackable to him. He could have said under 30 and got, like, quadruple the money, but he didn't.
Yeah. He's like, give it to everybody under 60, which, also eliminates that age that's going to be dying.
It's that millennial mentality, like, I don't need it. We'll give it to some younger people that are going to use it.
Yeah. Whereas, most of us here in America wouldn't be bothered with, going to 60. We would have been like, cap it at like 45. Fuck the boomers.
Can you imagine for a second if that fucking happened and, like, you or I were one of the people that, like, had one of the bank accounts? That would be fucking amazing.
No more college loans, buy my house, buy a fucking vehicle, hire a chauffeur.
Oh, yeah. So good.
I have my Alfred.
Man, that's fucking crazy. And, like, it felt so good to just see the U.S. pay out finally. Like, finally, because the U.S. is, like, and I don't know if the people that wrote this know this, but the U.S. politicians, especially Republicans, are all about, how are we going to pay for that? How are we going to pay for that? Oh, wait a minute, where's my phone? Wait a minute. I gotta give Kyle Kalinske, my boy Kyle Kalinske, a shout out right now.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Favorite YouTuber that got me into politics, but like, hold on a second. This is actually, I just retweeted like a clip of this. Here, talk about something while I get this up.
So, do you think we'll get another one shot at this point?
Probably not. I mean, it'd be a while from now, but like, I honestly think they're probably running out of things that I can't think of anything else to do. I mean, I think they've been really clever so far.
Like, it's been so nice to get these little tiny one-shots every now and then for Death Note.
Mm-hmm.
Especially after the second half of Death Note really tarnished the series. You know, coming back, you know, seeing all of these wonderful, wonderful little side stories that we can do. But at this point, there's really not much else that can be done with the franchise. So, definitely wanted to end at some point.
All right, this is how our politicians be.
I can pay for it. 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 I can pay for it.
Yeah.
I can pay for it. I can pay for it. I can pay for it.
But yeah, no, I mean, except of course for our military. So it's a beautiful, and it's true because obviously, you know, that would literally happen. Like literally, they don't want to do a national healthcare system in the United States. They don't want to do free college in the United States. They don't want to, you know, fix Flint's water, poison fucking water. But you know you're damn well they'd come up with $10 trillion out of nowhere.
For the power of God?
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's,
you know, that's the ultimate military budget.
Oh, yeah, exactly. You know they would 100%.
This Saudi prince just refused to sell us oil. Write the name in the death note.
Exactly. Bro, high key. Like, straight up, like, I could see this happening. Like, not a person would bat an eye. And like, oh yeah, $10 trillion. Of course, obviously, but healthcare for people so they don't die? Whatever. It's crazy.
Let them die. Let the poors die.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh my god.
But, you know, you're right. Like, there's not much else that can be done with the franchise at this point. So, do you really think this was the perfect send-off for the series?
I wouldn't mind it. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's one of those things where I think if they come up with another idea naturally, sure, do it. But like, I really don't mind. I mean, I wouldn't mind either way. I think it's the original series. You know, obviously, part 2 is wild, but like the first half of the original series is a fucking masterpiece. And
kind of like the first arc of Promised Neverland is a masterpiece.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, I don't. It's one of those things where I don't wish for more. Like, I'm not like, oh, I hope I get more, but I'm also not like, oh, I don't want any more. Like, if it comes, I'll take it. But like, it's just kind of like I see it as like a pleasant surprise. Like, oh, cool, you know. And
when I first saw what we were getting another, I'm like, oh, nice.
Yeah, I saw a bunch about it in like the Death Note Reddit. A lot of people were talking about it.
And I'm like, but what can they do? And then I saw this that we're using for the image.
When he was like, not even the Trump shit. I mean, I saw the Trump shit everywhere. For me, it was like when he was like, I'm going to sell the Death Note. I was like, that's an interesting concept. I was immediately like, that's fucking interesting. Okay.
You know, at first I thought it was just like a shitpost chapter. Like, it was going to be like 20-some pages where like Donald Trump got the Death Note.
Because still shitty fanfic. Yeah, all you see on Twitter is the Donald Trump images.
Like, I had no knowledge of what happened in this until today. I managed to avoid spoilers.
Good job.
Which was a pleasant surprise considering how many fucking manga and anime YouTubers I follow.
Thurman's high key trying to call me right now. Hold on. What's up, Thurman?
We're filming the Death Note video.
We're literally filming the Death Note one-shot video right now. I figured, you know, whatever, since you're part of this channel.
Oh, alright.
Say hi to the fucking channel.
Yo, what's up, Control Chaos? So I guess they're gonna hear me tell you some things right now.
Alright, say it. What's up, bro?
Okay, so let's wrap this up with a nice little bow here. The ending that people are bitching about, like how similar it is.
People just, no, I think the thing that they're bitching about is I think they're just saying it's like a cop-out ending. Like, oh, you just died like that. I think it's fine. Because I think like one of the themes throughout Death Note has always been when Ryuk told Light, you know this, any human who uses the Death Note will know the pain and torment that only humans that know the Death Note know, right? Like, it's just...
the finality of death.
Yeah, it's kind of the theme, you know, like Death Note, it's a power that humans shouldn't have, and there's really no cheating death. Just like there's no cheating the Death Note, just like there's no cheating the Shinigami King.
Yeah.
So this motherfucker thought he was clever. And it's fucked up, right? Like, and I think that's one of the things people were like, well, that's bullshit, because this kid was smart, he read through the rules, he saw there was no rule about selling it, so he did it. And then Shinigami King was like, nah, fuck you, and then changed the rules, which is bullshit, but it's, and I'll use a metaphor that Tekken 101 did in his review. He was like, it's kind of like that old thing where you make a deal with the devil. Does the devil have to play by the rules? No. The devil could, like, oh, you thought this? Nope, I'm the fucking devil. I'll change the rules,
Yeah.
So it's kind of shitty,
It's a shitty way to go, like, no doubt. But in his own way, Ryuk showed mercy by just letting him go heart attack. Instead of, like, this is, I can just fucking burn you alive.
I mean, it was the same way he killed Light.
Yeah. It's out of respect in a way. Because it seems like whoever Ryuk really makes this contract with, and they do good in their own way. Like, Light tried to, become God, but he also fucking started killing criminals, started actually making Japan a better place in his own fucked up sort of way.
Yeah, I mean, one of my favorites, he has such a good speech at the end of the original series where he, like, talks about, like, how, like, he reduced crime by, like, 80%, wars had ended, and it was, like, hard to argue that he didn't do something good,
Yeah. He was technically a fucking terrorist.
Oh, yeah.
But he did good, and that's the other thing, like, even the books, like, ethics books and shit, in this, future here, talks about Light, talks about Kira.
I love that. I love thinking about societal impacts of what he did, and, like, how that would just be, like, a crazy, like, it's kind of like how kids nowadays, that, obviously you and I, how old were you when 9/11 happened?
I was in 5th grade.
Yeah, I was, so I would have been 6, because I was born in 1994, so I don't remember it, right?
Yeah.
I don't have any memory. Do you have memory of 9/11?
I remember my teacher putting the TV on and us watching it over and over again, basically, like the footage, and it's like, way to traumatize kids.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't remember it at all, but, like, I know I was alive during it.
Yeah.
But, like, imagine, like, either that or someone, like, a kid born after 9/11, right? So, like, that's...
They're like, who the fuck cares?
It's gonna become... Well, not even... I mean, imagine that kind of being, like, a history event to them, right? Like, something you just learn. Like, you go to history school and you're learning about World War II and you're learning about Nazis, and then have you hit the Kira lesson yet? The Kira chapter in the textbook? That shit's crazy. Can you believe that happened? Like,
right.
That's fucking crazy to think about.
But to that generation that didn't grow up during it, they're like, who the fuck cares? It's the past, And to a generation after this, they'll be like, who the fuck cares? The Kira is in the past. What about Minro, or however you fucking pronounce his name, where he fucking...
sold the... Well, I don't even know. Did his name ever get out there? Did he ever give himself a alias?
No, he's like Akira to the fucking media, like...
Right. I think Nier called him, like, Kira C, or I don't know.
Yeah, it was Akira.
Yeah. I see.
Yeah, like... And can you, what about this, where he fucking reduced the national debt and raised the economy?
He has a fucking legacy. The Kira bubble. Like he probably boosted Japan's economy for fucking centuries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
what about that impact? And the generation after that will be like, who the fuck cares? What about this person? That's just how the world works. Like, to the generation after World War II, it's like, oh, it's past. And everything after that is like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, too, because especially, like, kids that are, like, families and kids that are, like, really well off, they might legit be like, oh, it's all because of that mysterious Kira, you know what I mean?
Right.
So he's got a legacy, for sure. It's very different. In fact, he might be looked upon more fondly, because obviously, we see at the end of the manga, and this actually was a scene that was not shown in the anime, so I don't know if you have your all-in-one book or if you've seen it.
It's buried over there.
Well, yeah, if you've gone to the end there, at the end of the Death Note manga, it shows that, like, many years after Light's death, he has a cult following. Like, he started a religion, essentially.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, there's no really other way to look at what happened there other than, like, an act of God, right? Because it literally was a God's power. It's just, was he being used by a dumb, fallible human. So, like, he started a religion. Like, at the end of the original Death Note, there's, like, Kira followers doing, like, a cult worship thing in the mountains, and they're, like, praying for his return and shit. And, like, I loved how, like, it did that thing where it, like, made you really think, like, like, about the good he did, because, like, I think it was implied that, like, or maybe this is either a headcanon of mine, or it was implied that, like, the group of people were all people that were, like, saved because of people that Kira had killed, right? So, like, for example, like, women who had gotten raped and then their rapists were killed. Or people who were about to be murdered and then, like, the murderer was killed, you know what I mean, of a heart attack. These people would see Kira as, like, a Jesus-like savior, you know? So, like, yeah, it's interesting. I love the different ways you can use the Death Note. I love the legacies these characters leave, and whereas with Light, it's a mixed one. There's probably some underground followers of him that are like, you know, it's like I assume it'd be memed in their world, like how we have the Hitler did nothing wrong meme. There's probably like Kira did nothing wrong, but people that genuinely mean that, you know, in their world. There's probably like a shit post on fucking line, but people are like genuinely like, yeah, actually.
Actually, look at how many fucking people he killed and how much good came of it. Like,
that's kind of the wild part. Like, the majority of the people he killed were probably like
warlords, mass murderers, you know,
but
war
then he
criminals.
Just took it too far. And
you know, it is a very bizarre.
It's so perfect.
Yeah,
I love those moral gray zones.
And like this dude, like his entire thing is like he kind of committed a war crime by getting.
Nah, bro, this guy clean as fuck to me. Like he
extorted a government, but they willingly got extorted.
To me, nothing wrong.
Yeah,
absolutely. Here's the thing about this. Okay, all he's done is like make a government pay up. It's gonna affect no one. Like
it's gonna affect no one.
Only affecting good. It's like it's not like the U.S. is gonna be like, oh no, we're in such debt now because
we're always in debt.
True, but it doesn't matter. As you can tell, it means nothing. And like what's great too is think about it from Trump's perspective. From his perspective, he now like even if it was a problem that they were in debt. He literally can hold above, like, yeah, I have the Death Note now, and look at me not using it. Look how good of a person I am. He can hold that above.
I can go ahead and use it.
Yeah, he can hold that. The U.S. actually can hold that above everyone for the rest of fucking time.
You know, he could be like, you think you're going to win the election? I can just write your name in the Death Note. I'm here forever.
Can you imagine Trump tweet threatening to use the fucking Death Note?
I have the Death Note. Never forget that little rocket man.
Sleepy Joe Biden making fun of me again.
Don't make me write your name.
Little does he know I made a certain $10 trillion purchase yesterday that he might be interested in. It's beautiful. Oh my god. But yeah, I liked it a lot. I think Death Note, it's so good. Like, you know, obviously I always make fun of part 2, and because it's a little bit weird, but like, this just shows...
The finger puppets.
Yeah.
They made him come back.
I mean, of course, Nier had to come back. Nier, he's the new L, obviously.
But, I hate him.
Yeah, he'll never replace L. How dare you stood where he stood.
How dare you stand where he stood!
Exactly. You were supposed to be the chosen one. But, yeah, I loved it.
You were supposed to stop!
You're supposed to stop these. I always love how, like, I don't know, did you ever watch the other? It was actually referenced, like, the beginning of this one shot was, like, literally directly followed the end of the last one. I don't know if you ever read the last one. It was at the end.
Long ago.
And that one I loved, too. It was a lot shorter and, like, a lot less happened. But, like, the point of that one was to show how special Light was. Because there was, like, the Shinigami from the beginning where he came back and it was like, oh, it didn't work. That Shinigami just assumed that you could give a Death Note to any human, and like the shit that happened with Light would happen. And then Ryuk had to be like, no, it takes a special human with like a crazy amount of resolve, and like only Light could have done that, right? Light and a handful of people, because this fucking other Shinigami just gave it to some rando, and he like killed himself after 3 days or whatever, and he's like, oh, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's like he couldn't handle the pressure or something, and like I remember in that one shot, Nier came out. It was actually such a flex. Nier just came out after a couple days, and he was just like, I'm actually not interested in this case. This Kira is clearly fucking dumb. Like, I'm over it. Like, I'll let the police handle this one. It's such a flex.
You know, Detective Dipshit over there can handle it.
Yeah, like a normal ass cops. I'll just let you guys handle this one.
You're in no danger whatsoever.
Oh yeah, he was shitty. And it just showed that I loved that because it was like. Light was special. It wasn't just like... And it's funny, too, because in the original Death Note, when Ryuk drops the Death Note, Light goes on this whole thing thinking, like, oh, was it, like, divine, and you chose me to get it or whatever, and like Ryuk's like, nah, bro, I just dropped it and you just happened to pick it up. But like Ryuk got lucky because it was light that picked it up. Whereas in this one, the opposite happens. He quite literally is like looking. He's like trying to strike, like make lightning strike twice. He's looking for someone smart like Light because he's like, oh man, I had a lot of fun. I got a lot of apples. Who's a smart kid like Light? You.
Also, let's just talk about the mother on a fucking apple diet. Is that like this 2019, 2020 cigarette diet?
That was like a weird, like, I feel like they could have come up with a lot better excuses to have. Like, they just wanted to have an excuse that we have a bunch of apples in the house. But all you had to do was be like, oh, you're lucky for you, my mom just bought some. You know?
Or lucky for you, my mom's, you know.
Yeah. Lucky for you, we just planted an apple tree. Like, what, an apple diet? What the fuck is that?
Is that
Google that right now. I want to know if that's a thing.
Oh, okay, we're Googling it.
Better not fucking cancel out OBS. Apple diet. Tell me it's real. It might be real. It honestly would not surprise me. Tell me about it. Tell me. Read it.
Eat 5 apples at regular intervals. Cut each apple into slices and eat slowly. Drink a glass of skimmed or soya milk with each apple. In between meals, eat a small pot of unflavored yogurt. Fuck! It's real!
Every kind of diet exists, honestly. Like, you could type in fucking, like, cornbread diet. Do it. Oh, the cornbread diet! I want it. Delicious cornbread.
Oh my fucking god, it's a top Google search.
Cornbread diet? Cornbread? Is cornbread good for weight loss? How to make healthy cornbread.
Keto cornbread.
Cornbread's fucking delicious, bro.
Oh, Jesus H. fucking Christ.
Quite literally, though, there's a diet for everything, bro. Now, I need to sleep because I am fucking exhausted.
Alright, peace!
Final thoughts? No, you pieced before final thoughts.
Oh, final thoughts.
Predictions for the next Death Note one-shot in 10 years.
It was like, what, 4 years, 5 years?
No. The last one was, like, high-key. It was, like, only, like, a year or two after Death Note ended, I thought.
You're too long.
God damn it. Okay, you do that.
2008.
Really? So over 10 years ago? Jesus Christmas.
Never complete one shot. Yep. Okay, so yeah, it was legitimately fucking, it was like 10 years.
The next one will take place during World War III.
You know? Probably.
Knock on wood. Okay.
Alright, so in 10 years, when we get the next Death Note one-shot, the Death Note will be a fucking phablet.
We will upload this video from our nuke bunker.
You know, the terrifying thing is we can't tell if that'll be real or not.
Oh, you know. Elect Bernard Sanders. Because he will just solve everything. I have nothing more to explain to you.
Okay, so, yeah.
Believe in Saint Bernard. Bro, I want to see someone draw him as a Saint Bernard doggo.
Send that to our Discord server.
When I was knocking doors for Bernie, my roommate I was knocking doors with, he fucking put on his Snapchat, spreading the good word of Saint Bernard. Anyway.
Follow us on social media, join our Discord, and enjoy the video. This was
Look at our reviews if you're new, and I'm tired.
We're going to go to that. We've been up since 4 or 5 o'clock this morning.
We have disgusting early jobs like functioning human beings. We have to pretend to be functioning human beings every goddamn day.
And with that, peace.